Hey guys, Jerry back with at Theatrically Jerry, and today's review is going to focus on the Retro line of LED fixtures. This is the 6 by 50 watt vertical retro hexagon light. It is manufactured in China, so it is a generic light, meaning that it has multiple manufacturers that produce the same light. Included with this fixture is, of course, your user manual. And if you've ever watched my channel, you know I recommend that you read this. So get it out. It's not a super thick manual, so there's not too many pages. However, it is going to go over your DMX channels and the values. So this is very important because this has two DMX channel modes. It has an 8 and a 28. So keep that. I'm glad that they included that. You're also going to get a 3-pin DMX cable, so they do include that. It's a rather short line on it. It's probably just 6 foot, so keep that in mind. But they did include one. And you're also getting a PowerCon power connector. So they have included that as well. So you don't need one of those. And this is actually a pretty thick gauge cable. So this is a pretty nice PowerCon power cable. Some other things that did come in the box, if you didn't watch the unboxing video, which is now up on my YouTube channel, it comes with this metal base down here. It's separate, and you actually have to install it with 2 thumb screws to the main light fixture here. So I actually had to move my camera all the way back for this review because this light fixture stands in at 45.3 inches tall by 12.6 inches wide, and it is an astonishing 5.5 inches deep. So this light fixture is very thin from front to back here. So you can actually put this in a lot of different areas. This is going to be very versatile for you. So I like the footprint of this light fixture. It's not obnoxiously large. It's going to fit in a lot of different places. Maybe a dark corner too would be a cool place to put it. Let's go ahead and check out the adjustable height here because they have included that as well. So they have included an adjustable height here, and it has 2 thumb screws that you just simply loosen up here, and then you can actually get another 12 inches of height out of the light fixture. Most of this fixture is aluminum and steel, so it has some heft to it. The entire light weighs about 13.99 pounds. It's easy to carry, but not so light that you'll feel like it's going to break or fall over, so I do like the build quality of this light fixture. Speaking of falling over, the base comes with 2 thumb screws that attach it to the fixture. Let's go ahead and look at those. That is how the base attaches to the light fixture. So I would have liked to have seen 4 points of contact, not 2, but you're only getting 2 with this. So with that being said, the base is a little wobbly. Not the actual base here, but the base of the light fixture wobbles. Now I found to combat that, you need to actually use the hex wrench to tighten these 2 screws, not just your fingers, and then it doesn't wobble as much, but it doesn't feel like it's going to fall over. It's just has a little wobble to it. The lens is plastic and it's not glass, so I wanted to point that out to you guys, which I don't mind because it's less likely to break. There is a Hexagon grate that covers and protects the plastic lens. It's made of metal, and it's also protecting the LEDs behind it. So you have this really cool retro design look to this light fixture. Inside each Hexagon is a 50-watt COB. So what COB means is chip on board. It's capable of emitting light so warm that it mimics traditional halogen lamps. The temperature of the light comes in at about 1800 K, which is, like I said, extremely warm for a LED light, and it creates a deep warm amber-like color. When every COB is on, it creates 250 watts of total power because each Hexagon contains 50-watt chip on board here, and there are 6 of them, so 6 times 50 watt is 250 watts. Surrounding the 50-watt chip on board are 0.5 watt 50/50 RGB SMD LEDs. So SMD basically means surface mounted diodes. They are LEDs that are mounted to a strip here. I've seen a lot of listings or auctions online that state that this has 72 total 50/50 RGBs. It does not. So I wanted to point that out to you guys. A lot of these overseas listings are very incorrect. So this actually has 3 SMDs here, and the manufacturer saved money by not including it around the entire perimeter of this hexagon. So you're actually only getting 3 strips in here. There's 1, 2, 3. So 3 strips times 3 surface mounted diodes equals 9 total surface mounted diodes per hexagon. And since there are 6 hexagons here, that creates a total of 54 50/50 RGBs. So there's not 72, there's not more, there's not less. So if you do see a listing for this that's stating that, it's not correct. We have the job of these surface mounted diodes is to supply background lighting to each of these hexagons. So these are more of a supplemental light. These are not the main light. The main light's going to be your 50-watt chip on board here. So these are just supplemental lights. They don't give off a lot of light because they're only half of a watt each. You can mix these in the RGB color space, of course, to create interesting and stunning effects. There is a hammered metal reflector here. If you can't see, it's textured. It gives to the retro look of this light fixture, but its main purpose is to collect and direct all of the light that the LEDs are producing here and push them outwards from the fixture. But as you can see from my studio lighting, it's really good at collecting and capturing light and hitting it backwards. So these do have a purpose, but they also have a visual purpose, which is it makes it look like a retro, timeless design. Let's go ahead and take a look at the back of this light fixture to see how the controls are laid out. So I'm going to go ahead and spin this around so we can get a better look at the back of this light fixture. So on the back of the 6x50 watt is your typical 4-character red LED display, which you see on a lot of light fixtures like this, lower end ones anyways. You're not going to get a full color LCD display. This screen displays the user interface and the menus built into the light fixture. Underneath are 4 tactile buttons. So we have your menu, up, down, and enter. They do make a little audible click so that you know that you're pressing them, and they're not super small, so they're easy to find. So I love that about this light fixture. You have a menu button, your up button, your down button, and your enter button. These are for navigating the built-in menus. Below that is a fan, and it is dead center on the back of this light fixture. This fan is in charge of keeping the PSU, or your power supply unit, and the motherboard cool during operation. It says it's for the lights, but there's no way for the fan to reach the LEDs and these hexagons up front here, so I don't think they're cooling the LED lights down. So I'm assuming that the LEDs are being passively cooled using the metal frame here. The fan is by no means loud, but it's not completely silent either. So let's go ahead and listen to how loud this fan is from about 1 foot away from the camera here. This light fixture doesn't have an on and off switch, so I am going to have to turn it on from my power supply over here. Alright, so this light fixture is on right now. The fan is on at its highest setting because it's not a variable speed fan, and it remains at the same speed and sound the entire time it's running. So this is from a foot away. I'm going to be quiet here for a second so you can listen. Alright, we are now about 6 feet away from the light fixture. As you can hear, the exhaust fan is not very loud on this, so you're not going to hear it from 10 feet away, I'm going to guess. From 6 feet away here, I can still kind of hear it, but I also have the fan pointed towards me. If it's turned around and it's pointed towards the wall, you're probably not going to hear it at all. So as stated earlier, there's no on and off power supply on this light fixture. I would have liked to have seen a rocker switch somewhere down here, probably right here on the bottom where there's nothing. I'm assuming they omitted it because of cost, but also a lot of LED par light fixtures don't have on and off switches. So the only way to turn this on is to unplug it from its power source. Also, there is no user accessible fuse on this, so if you do blow the fuse on this, it's going to be very hard to get to. I'm assuming you're going to have to take this whole back plate off, because usually they include a little like button pop fuse on the bottom, and there's not one. So if you do blow the fuse from the light fixture, it's going to be a headache to reinsert it or put a new one in. On the bottom left of the fixture is your power con in and your power con out. I was glad to see that they included this form of power supply instead of like a IEC power port, which you'd see on cheaper light fixtures. This makes it look more professional, and I also love power connectors because you can't pull them out. On the bottom right here is your 3-pin DMX in and out. This makes linking these lights a breeze, since you can daisy chain both the power and DMX signal to another light fixture in your setup. We're going to go ahead and look at the built-in menus on the 6x50 watt Retro LED. So when you plug in this light fixture, the first menu you're going to be greeted with is A001, A meaning address. So this is where you're going to set up your DMX address. You can set it up from 1 to 512, so that's one universe, DMX universe. The next menu is your channel mode menu. So you can select a 8-channel mode or a 28-channel mode of control. I prefer 28. When you hit enter, you're going to be greeted with the words yes, which means that that is what you've selected. The next menu is your mode menu. So this is how you're going to set the light into the mode that you want. Right now it's set to 512, which means DMX control. The next one is auto. If you set it to auto, the light will run on its own. You don't need a console to control this light fixture. There are built-in programs and macros that will run continuously in auto mode. The next menu is sound. So this light fixture has a built-in microphone, and it will react accordingly to the sound around it. So I'm going to hit yes, and we'll go into sound mode, and as you can see, it's reacting to my voice right now. And if I smack the light fixture, it will react to it as well. The very last menu is how reactive you want this light fixture to be to the sound. And those are values from 0 to 99, 99 being the most reactive. So this light fixture is also going to give you microphone sensitivity settings so that you can set it just the way you want in sound mode. I'm going to go back to DMX mode here. And basically, those are all of the built-in menus. So it's a very simple layout. It's easy to navigate, and it gives you pretty much everything that you want to do with this light fixture. I would have liked to seen a advanced mode where you can actually set each individual hexagon on this light fixture, but they didn't include that with this. So if you do want to do that, you're going to want to go into 28 channel mode, and you're going to need to control it from your light board or console. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and check out the built-in macros or shows that are included with this light fixture. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in auto mode for you guys. So as you can see, the RGB SMDs are not very bright, but when those 50-watt chip-on boards kick in, they're blinding. So this makes a great blinder, as well as just a visual light on your stage for your audience to look at. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and check out the linear dimming on the 6x50-watt Retro LED light. So the manufacturer is claiming a 32-bit linear dimmer, which I'm very skeptical about. I doubt it's even a 16-bit, but we're going to go ahead and look at it. So in order to do that, I'm going to separate the SMD from the COB. So we're going to take a look at the RGB surface mounted diodes first. I'm just going to simply go ahead and bring my master up to 100% on my console to show you guys the dimming capability. So it's rather smooth going up to 100, but like typical for a LED light, the lower end is a little steppy. So there's some steps at the lower end that make this not dim completely smooth. So this is 0 and this is 1. So they're either on or off. There's no perfectly smooth dimming on the lower end. But a lot of people won't notice that, especially if you're going quickly with the dimmer. It looks rather smooth. So that is just the surface mounted diodes. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the 50-watt chip-on board to see how smooth it is. So the linear dimming on the chip-on board, or the 50-watt COB here, also claims a 32-bit linear dimming. I do not think it's going to do that, but I do think it's going to perform better than the surface mounted diodes. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. I'm just going to go ahead and bring my master up on my console to 100%. And then I'm going to slowly fade it to 0. So as expected, the chip on board has a much smoother linear dimming at the lower end. When you're trying to fade it out, there isn't as many steps. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys a closer look at that so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. All right, so we're a little closer to this light. I'm going to go ahead and bring it up just a little bit. As you can see on the lower end here, there's a lot more steps for control. I would not say it's 32-bit either. That seems to be grossly exaggerated, but it does have, here's step 1. That's the lowest it's going to go for intensity. You do 2, 3, 4. We can bring it back down. So let's go ahead and see what this looks like at full. As you can see, they do a great job of being a blinder. They even blind my camera and also my eyes. So these are extremely bright COBs for a light fixture of this price range. And that warm glow looks amazing. You don't see that very often, so it does give to the retro look of this light fixture. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at the strobe or shutter system on here. The light manufacturer is claiming a 0 to 25 hertz strobe. So from 0 to 25 flashes per second. Right now I have it at its lowest setting, which would be considered 1. So 1 strobe per second. And we're going to go ahead and bring it up to its maximum strobe. And I'm doing this slowly so you guys can kind of see the different intensities. We're at 75% of its maximum strobe ability. Now we are at 100. Now, from my years of working with lights, I can assure you that this is every bit of 25 strobes per second. It actually kind of hurts your eyes. It's strobing so fast. So the strobe on this is actually very good. But let's go ahead and see what the strobe looks like on the surface mounted diodes or the RGB lights on this. Let's see if they perform as well. Alright, so I have the blue surface mounted diodes active at the slowest strobe setting, which is 0. And we're going to bring this up to 100%. I'm going to do it slowly. Alright, so we're at 75%. And we're at 100. So the surface mounted diodes are just as able to refresh as the chip on board. So they are also definitely a 25 hertz strobe. They don't hurt your eyes as much though because they're not as bright, but as you can see from the camera, sometimes they almost look like they're still. So they definitely check out. Their pulse isn't as nice as the chip on board. There is some stutter to it, but for the most part, they also match the white, and they look great at the lower range too. So like right here, they look great, and these are the blue ones. We can try the green ones too. Here's our green. They seem to be even and uniform in their strobe as well, which is nice to see. And that's at max, and as you can see, they almost look like they're still because they're strobing so fast. If you enjoyed this in-depth review, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments on this fixture, go ahead and leave it down below. I do respond to them as quickly as I can. If stuff like this interests you, DJ lighting, stage lighting, atmospherics, or equipment, go ahead and follow my channel at Theatrically Jerry. I create a lot of reviews on a broad range of lights and equipment, as well as tutorials. So go ahead and subscribe, and thank you guys for watching.